I need everybody to know there ain't nothing like the Katie Bow Show. Oh, Katie Bow Show, for show, for show. Let go. The Katie Bow Show, for show, for show. Right here. Katie Bow Show, for show, for show. Ooh. Katie Bow Show, for show. Stick around, might just play your favorite song. It's that show you've been waiting on all day long. If an encouraging word is what you need, you can always count on KD. Never disappointed, right here is where you wanna be. We can talk about how to get and keep your man. Let's talk. Breaking it all the way down so you understand. Brothers, he gon' help you too. Keeping it 100, he gon' tell the truth. So what you do with what you hear is all up to you. Oh, it's the Katie Bow Show. Oh, it's the Katie Bow Show. And I can guarantee you he gon' say something you need to know. It's the Katie Bow Show. It's the Katie Bow Show.
What about your gift are you responsible for?
So God's,
if anything.
Yeah, I feel like God's responsible for the deposits. You're responsible for the development.
Okay.
So you don't get to pick, you don't pick your gifts, bro. You can acquire some skills, which is different than a gift.
Okay. Please help me with that distinction.
Yeah, so I feel like so for me, from the seat that I sit in, for some people, they're gonna say it's two categories. For me, as a faith leader, a spiritual leader, I'm gonna say there's three. And this informs me, not just in ministry, it informs me in business and in my coaching. I'm gonna say you've got a spiritual gift. I'm gonna say you've got natural ability, and that's talent, which is talent.
Oh, okay.
And then you've got acquired skill.
Okay.
And these are skills you've had to acquire, a lot of times out of necessity, to support your natural ability or your spiritual gift.
Yeah.
So for example, there are some things you can do. So you got a gift, you're a thought leader, right? So that's a gift. You got the gift to speak, to convey thoughts clearly. That's a gift. But there are some skills you had to acquire to actually deliver that gift.
Facts.
Right? So there are other things that may not have nothing to do with speaking that you kind of had to. So anyway, so for me, I feel like you've got the spiritual gift that helps you make a spiritual impact. Then you've got I call it eternal impact. And then you've got the natural ability or talent, which is just like you can sing, you're fast, you can shoot a basketball, you're more athletic. And then you've got the acquired skill. And so I feel like all with the spiritual gifts and the natural ability, the talent, you're responsible for developing that, for refining that, for putting the work in. And when you do, it's that law of sowing and reaping.
Yes.
When you sow into that gift and you develop it, you start reaping from that gift. So that skill creates a stream that flows into your life.
I heard somebody say this, that power isn't static. You're either gaining it or you're losing it, but it never stands still. So when you're developing your gift, what does that look like?
I don't know where I land there. And let me tell you, so in theory, I agree.
Okay, take me there.
Power static. In theory, I agree. When you take that principle and say, yo, let's apply that to gift development, I think that's true over time. Meaning, so when I start developing my gift, right, some call it the compound effect. So if I start working on my gift, so let's say I'm trying to become a better speaker, and I start memorizing words so that because when you're a speaker, words are your weapon. So you got to get as many of them in your arsenal as you can.
Sure.
So if it's learning words, if it's, I don't know, practicing speaking, et cetera, if I start working on that today, I'm probably not going to see the benefit tomorrow.
Facts.
Or the next day. Or if I get to a certain level and I stop working on it, I might not see the decline today or the next day.
Yeah.
But incrementally over time, I'll see I've moved forward or backward.
Yeah.
But it's not all, I think, immediate. It happens over time.
Okay, good. So like atrophy, it doesn't happen
Exactly.
immediately.
Yeah.
Okay, but when you were developing it, it's the books, it's the podcast, it's the studying. These are gifts, not necessarily. These are talents, or these are gifts. Which one of these?
It could be either one, but
Okay.
I would use all of that to try to develop it. Mentorship. I call it strategic studying, bro. Not just like studying anything, but studying things that actually help me get better at what I do.
Mm-hmm. Let me go into this category of relationships, man. I'm gonna let you go, man. I appreciate this.
Oh, man.
Can you tell me the kind of juxtapose these two? Loving passionately versus loving effectively.
Yeah.
Because they could be.
Sure, yeah. So basically, one of them involves your heart, and one of them involves your head and your heart.
Okay,
Loving passionately, heart only.
Mm,
Loving effectively, head and heart.
mm.
So there's this scripture that talks about like dwelling with a person according to knowledge.
Yeah.
Like, so there's this. So we love, humans, generally speaking, love to the degree of your ignorance.
Okay.
This is what this means. It means you love people until you find out something you don't know.
Oh, that's good.
You got me?
That's good.
God's different. He loves based on knowledge. So he know everything and still love. We stop loving when we find some things out.
But some people say that would be safe, though.
I'm not making a judgment on it. You understand? I'm going to say you love people with agape love, like God's love. But if we're talking about philea, which is friendship, I'm not making a judgment on that. Everybody shouldn't get that kind of love.
Facts.
Everybody should get God's love.
I read the book now.
Yeah, you don't get Storge, you don't get Eros, you don't get, like, you got to qualify for that.
Storge, what's that?
That's like family love.
Man, I don't know none of this.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Storge.
I'm just throwing stuff out.
You just dropped it out there. I know Philly, arrows, but go ahead.
That's family love, you know what I mean? And so it's just not love. That's not just love that you give toward people that are actually family, right? Because sometimes God gives you good friends to make up a bad family.
Ooh.
There's a friend that sticks closer than a brother. That's the book, you know what I mean?
Right.
So there are people who don't have your bloodline that are more family than people who are.
Okay.
For certain people, right? So, so anyway, when a person is loving passionately and they're not loving effectively, I talk about this in relational intelligence, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You got to come on the podcast. It's a relational intelligence podcast.
Let's roll, man.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So anyway, the idea is they're loving passionately, but bro, they're not doing any perceiving. There's no discernment. They're ignoring what the Bible calls fruit. Jesus said, know a tree by the fruit it bears. He didn't say judge it. I'm not judging a tree. If it's an apple tree or an orange tree, I'm not judging it. I just need to know. Because if I'm allergic to oranges, I need to stay away from that.
Yeah, facts.
I ain't judging it. I'm just saying that don't work for me.
But I don't see nothing wrong with judging, though. I mean, the Bible says judge not according to appearance, but judge righteous judgment. It say judge. It just don't be judging like,
Exactly. Like, but when it says judge like that, it's talking about discern, right? It's not talking about render a verdict in terms of what God's getting ready to do with you. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So, but I feel like when a person is loving effectively, it is like, my heart is in this, yet at the same time, my head is too. And I'm discerning, I'm looking at fruit. And so the fruit that I see is going to determine what I expect from you. You know what I mean? The fruit that I see is going to determine how I invest in you. The fruit that I see is going to determine how close I allow you to get to me. So to me, that's the difference. Now, people, you can do it your way. You can keep doing it the passionate way. I just see how that works. Oh,
I'm not. Yeah,
I'm not talking to you.
Okay,
I'm just saying
I don't know who.
Yeah, I'm just saying. You know how people they'll hear that and be like, I'm not doing it. It's like, okay, keep doing it your way. Just don't put your head in it. Just see how that work for you.
So how do you pull your heart out of a situation when your head said this ain't what you need to be doing?
So, that's hard if you're not using your head from the beginning. Like it doesn't mean it's impossible. It just means it's more difficult. Like, so the idea is, like, generally speaking, I should be using my head before heart. Because the head is letting me know whether or not my heart is safe here.
But people don't teach that, bro, right?
Well, I know, and people
it's like love is dumb. Love is reckless abandon.
Yeah, and that's not love. You understand what I'm saying? That is a cultural, there might be a cultural understanding of love. There might be a definition of love that people have accepted, but it's just not true with love as I understand it in Scripture.
Okay.
So for me, there's a proverb that says this: guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it flows the issue of your life.
Yeah.
It's just like, but the quality of your heart, the condition of your heart determines the quality of your life. Your standard of living don't determine the quality of your life. You can have a high standard of living and low quality of life. I see that all the time. Now, I'm in a lot of, I don't want to say that because that might come out the wrong way, but I know people, bro. And a lot of people that's successful are sad. Y'all get the Instagram post.
Facts. No,
I get
facts.
the real.
No facts.
You understand?
Facts.
When it all falls
Facts.
apart,
Facts.
they see me.
Yeah.
So everybody else get what they get. Everybody else hear what they're talking at the mastermind groups. Everybody else hears what they're talking at the conference. Everybody else seeing what they're saying on the stages. But then when it's time to get real, they hit me with the real. So I'm telling you the real. And that is that you can have a high standard of living and a low quality life. You can have a bed, king, custom, dope, thread count.
1,000 count thread, yeah.
And get no sleep.
Yeah.
No sleep. Have an entourage around you, stay lonely. So the condition of your heart affects the quality of your life, man. And so you have just like I got a responsibility to develop my gift, I got a responsibility to steward my emotions well and to steward my heart well. Would you just throw your money anywhere? Nah, you're gonna investigate it. Your heart's more valuable than your money.
Yeah, but we throw faith in there, like, just believe. Just have hope. I mean, hope maketh not ashamed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So faith, hope, charity.
Mm-hmm. And I think that is just a flawed perspective again. And I'm making a judgment. I just think it's a flawed perspective on faith. Like it's one thing, like the line between faith and foolishness is a thin line. So you want to make sure that when you're taking a faith step, it's really a faith step and not a foolish step. And I'm not saying that faith isn't sometimes seen as foolish to others, right?
Yeah.
So I decided not to go to law school because that's what I was doing when I was graduating from undergrad and to go to seminary.
Right.
So if you're just looking at that from a logical perspective, you're like, that's kind of foolish. You know what I mean?
It kind of hit me different than when you said it in the book. That hit me different right there.
Yeah. But to me, it's like, some people might say it was foolish then.
They said
they're not calling it foolish. Yeah. So that's kind of like faith in God, which is completely different than faith in people. Like you know God's character. You don't know people's character till you see some fruit. And then that determines how much faith you put in them. Like, I talk about this in the book, bro. There is a difference, but everybody deserves love. Everybody should get love, God's love.
Yeah.
Access has to be earned.
Yes.
You got to qualify for access.
I remember that part. Everybody should be loved. Everybody deserves to be loved.
Yeah.
But access. That's
earned.
Has to be earned. Did you get any pushback for that?
Not as much. Not as much. We got pushback. Relationships are just people got strong opinions on that.
Okay, I'm gonna put you out there. You can bat this ball all the way down to the ground and be like, I don't want none of that. Hey man, how do you know when to walk away? And there's a lot of categories for this. You're dating, you're married, whatever. But and sometimes there's some cases, and I won't put you on the spot. Don't answer it in the way you don't want to answer. But how do you know when? Yeah, it's time to walk away. Yeah,
so let's just speak in general terms because that's safest, right? So
your tap dance is almost Billy Hines. You got your tap dance is almost on Billy. Yeah. Gregory Hines. There it is.
Yeah. So in general terms, and I talk about this, it's like this. I feel like there should be. These are the two images that I. Or characters that I use to kind of describe this. You have to decide whether or not is somebody a Judas or are they a Peter? And this is what I mean for people who are unfamiliar with that imagery, right? Okay. So these are like, for people that are unfamiliar with that imagery and that example, these are like two of Jesus' disciples.
Facts.
Judas was like, he betrayed him, he sold him out, right? Mm-hmm. Peter denied him temporarily. right? So the difference is this. One had a bad heart. That's Judas. Peter had a bad day. When you're dealing with somebody that got a bad heart, that's elimination.
Who's to say they got a bad heart, though?
Yeah, this is what I mean when I talk about fruit. I'm not making a judgment. I'm not saying you're
No, this is good. This is good. You point to the social proof. Oh, this is good.
Yeah.
Oh, this is good.
Because for me, everybody's got a different perspective, but the scriptures inform my worldview on this, and it is out of the abundance of the heart, your mouth's going to speak.
Facts.
Right? All the issues of life flow from the heart.
Yeah.
So how a person's relating to you, so I can tell, I don't have to see your heart to see your heart, bro. The heart's going to show up in conversation. If somebody's, into themselves, it's going to show up. Like I don't know if y'all have ever been in this situation, bro. I was just in this recently, where it's like, you having a conversation with someone and it's all about them.
It's a lot.
They heart full of them.
It's a lot.
The mouth is speaking what the heart's full of.
So people say, man, you don't know my heart? Yeah, I kind of do.
You know, it's like, you don't know your heart.
Right. Yeah. I kind of do.
Be like, God knows my heart. Right. God does. You don't.
Yeah, man, that's good.
Because the book also says it's deceitful.
Yeah.
Like,
who can know it?
Who can know it? It's deceitful. Like, your heart to have you in love with a fool. And you really in love. Just because it's real don't mean it's right. But, you're really in love there.
All right, man, I love you, man. I really feel like that you are what and who is needed and necessary, especially for, black men. I happen to be a black man, You embody wisdom, strength. What's your workout regimen, right? Your arms in here all
man,
swole.
I'm trying to
I see how you were sitting up there. You was actually sitting up there like Lou Haney, Lou.
Nah.
You was giving me one of these.
I'm trying to get back in it, man.
Really?
I'm trying to get back in it.
So you doing weights or you doing what, calisthenics? What?
Yeah. I'm primarily strength training right now. And just trying to do what I can, man, to take care of myself. That's it.
No, and praise God for that, man. For a black man, we get beat up a lot.
We do. And at some point we need to talk about let's not touch it, right? But we need to talk about what that has created in terms of some of the toxicity that's in the manosphere now.
No, I gotta touch it a little bit, bro.
Because
I gotta touch it a little bit. Okay, so I'm not gonna touch all of it. They clap back is real strong.
Yeah.
So when I was in my pain, relationship pain, I ain't gonna lie, it was like manna for my ears. It was beautiful. Get them.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was never in nobody's comment section. I think that's, it's dark down there. But as I realized what it was doing to my soul, bruh, to my energy, it's just dark. It's hurt.
It's trauma.
Man, it's trauma. It's traumatic. And I don't know if they realize that that's what it is.
Yeah.
Because some people can really see you. Mm-hmm. They can really see you. You thinking you're doing one thing, but in fact, somebody else with discerning eyes is looking at you like you a bottle of Aquafina. They can see right through you.
Yeah.
And hey, man, that ain't healthy.
Right.
You telling your business, your slip showing, homie.
Mm-hmm.
So I just, what I want to do, man, is I talk to black men. What I want to make sure that I do is I want to keep it real, but I want to keep it factual as well, because it's two different sides.
Sure. Sure.
Man, Einstein was brilliant, but he was also on the other side where it was raining outside. He couldn't even put an umbrella up.
Yeah.
The way that pendulum goes this way, it goes the exact same way that way, man. It's both sides.
Yeah.
To the extreme that there is a good, there's another extreme that's bad. Yeah. And I feel like that we only tell one side of the story most of the time.
Yeah.
And if we just try to clap back at people that have hurt us, then we're no better than them.
Yeah. I think there needed to be some level setting, because I do feel like, let's just keep it a bug, right? Most fathers, at least African-American fathers that I know, they don't feel like they get the love on Father's Day that the sisters get on Mother's Day, right?
Facts.
So there needed to be some level setting. Like nothing needed to change in terms of what was happening with the sisters. But for guys that were there and are present and were putting the time in, I'm just telling you, those guys felt neglected. It was like, bro, almost like 9 or 10 men that I would talk to that are in the home would use the word in one way or another, directly or indirectly, unappreciated to describe what they felt.
Yeah.
Not that we need to give you a cookie for doing what you're supposed to do, yet at the same time.
A cookie would be still nice, though. We like
You know what I
cookies.
mean? Yet at the same time, what some of them have had to press through just to get to normal.
Yeah.
They've had to press through stuff that's abnormal just to get to normal.
Yeah.
And so it's real easy to judge somebody's contributions when like you don't know their story. It's like, well, he's just doing what he's supposed to do. It's like, well, man, he had to jump over a lot of hoops to be able to do that. He had to do it with trauma. He had to do it with father wounds. He had to do it with no father. He had to do it with no model. He had to do it with stress. He had to do it hurt. And he had to do it with what God gave him. You do it with what God gave you, but he had to do it with what God gave him. And so it's a little difficult. But yeah, there needed to be some level setting, but it's gone to an extreme where I just kind of feel like it's creating something within the African-American community that I think we don't even see the repercussions of yet.
And if you say something, you simping. Now all of a sudden, now you simping. You
100%,
simp.
100%.
Hey man, relax. I got a daughter that's got to come up in this mess.
Yeah.
And so I'm a cigar enthusiast, man. I love a good cigar. I just don't get a chance to get to my spots like Red Phone before whatever as often as I want to. But when I'm there and I'm enjoying just some great conversations, brother, I've heard so many guys say regarding marriage, the single ones say, I don't want to mess with it, man. It doesn't benefit us, which I don't believe at all.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing in me that believes that. Mm-hmm. Nothing. We're better together.
Yeah.
And then there are others who I do get where they say, you don't get out of it what you put. You don't get a return on your investment. You don't get what you give.
Yeah.
I don't know how true that is. I don't know how factual that is. I do know that,
Let's say
you
it's
can
true.
get it.
Let's say hypothetically it's true. Now, that's not true for me.
Hypothetically, it's true.
That's not true for me.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm not saying it's true, for me.
Yeah, right.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Not saying it.
But I think let's say it's true though.
Yeah.
Let's say it's true.
Yeah.
I think my next question would be, why?
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
So my question would be, are you saying something's wrong with the institution when something's really wrong with your choosing?
Do we want to?
That's not my story. So when people say that's not my friend's story, I wouldn't be where I am without mine. Because when I went to seminary, she's the one that held down the bills.
Yeah.
She's the one that left her job at the Stennis Space Center as a software engineer. She was the one that was dating me when I was driving this old, whatever I was driving. I don't want to say what it was, but I was driving this old whatever in college, and my driver's side window wouldn't let down. So when we would go to Chick-fil-A, I would have to open the door and get the bag. She was the one, bro. She was the one.
Yeah.
And so when I look at where I am emotionally, where I look at where I am financially, where I look at where I am, especially on the business side, what we're doing in the business space, I wouldn't have what I have.
Really?
And be without marriage. So I'm not saying that's everybody's story, but I'm saying if you paint that broad brush and be like, it doesn't benefit us. It benefit me. And I guess just by God's grace, I picked somebody that I could do more than lay with. I picked somebody I could build with. And I knew what I wanted early. You know what I mean? Because if you don't know what you're looking for, you don't know where you find it. And I'm just telling you, and there are women out there like that. I'm not gonna call his name, but one of my friends just got engaged, and he's engaged to an incredibly successful person that's incredibly well off. And she leveling him up already. You understand? So he was doing this thing before. She's leveling him up already. And so his life emotionally, financially, professionally is better because of who he was with. So I don't know what everybody's story is. I'm not saying marriage is for everybody. I'm of the belief that if you don't want to do it, don't do it, bro. Don't walk her down the aisle. Don't make a vow before God.
Yeah.
Don't have a daddy sitting there and a mama sitting there.
Yeah.
And you know you kind of half in it.
Yeah.
If you don't want to do it, there's nothing wrong with not doing it.
Yeah.
Culturally, it's like marriage is preferred. Paul said, yo, if you could be single, be single.
Because community can step in and you're not doing it, but I don't think you need to do life by yourself.
Of course.
No one needs to do life by themselves. So that's why you have community in your circles and what have you. But it's some good stuff, man. But as a black man, all I want us to do is to be able to level up and do the best that we can. And the final thing I want to talk about is just to make sure how, man, do we have to have a mindset to be able to be financially, fiscally sound as we help build our communities and our families.
You know, one of the things that I think, bro, that was lost with the civil rights movement, and I don't know why African Americans.
Oh, I like where you're going with this.
I don't know why we lost this one. But like really, it's been said that the civil rights movement was divided up into 3 phases. So you had political participation, which we needed the right to vote, and then social integration, and then economic emancipation. Which, when you look at the last part of like Dr. King's life, bro, he was talking a lot about economic justice.
Facts.
Like the last speech that he actually gave was centered around that in Memphis. Yeah. So people like, somehow that got lost, that you need more than political participation, you need more than social integration, you need economic emancipation. You need to be free. Now, I'm gonna tell you something. I think bad religion, Christianity specifically, because Jews and our brothers that are Jewish and some that are in the Islamic faith, they don't struggle with this the way Christians do.
Facts.
Philosophically, the struggle doesn't exist.
Facts.
Right?
Facts.
Of course, there are exceptions. But generally speaking, the struggle doesn't exist.
Different mindset.
So I just kind of feel like it's like bad religion, like bad versions of Christianity have like really caused people to underemphasize. No, you don't make a God out of it, but they underemphasize the importance of making it, the importance of moving it properly.
Yeah.
The importance of multiplying it. And somehow that got lost. And part of what we need to do is we really need to re-emphasize that and also train people how to use their skills to create streams.
Skills to create streams.
100%. Skills to create streams. So I'm what's called, in the business space, I do what's called knowledgepreneurship.
Knowledgepreneurship.
Yep. So it's really 2 ways you're serving people in the business space. You're giving products or services, right? So some people are selling what they create, and then knowledgepreneurs sell what they know. See the difference?
Yes.
So everybody either can do something or you know something that can add value to somebody else. And when you add value to somebody else, they give you a certificate of appreciation for the value that you added. That certificate of appreciation is compensation.
I like it.
Yeah. It's like we got to teach people, bro, there's something that you know. You can put it in a course, you can put it in a book. You can start a podcast. There's something that you know that can add value to somebody else and they'll pay for it. Or there's something you can create that can add value to somebody else and they'll pay for it. And that skill creates a stream.
How do people walk with you, partner with you? You have a lot of programs, a lot of ways that people can walk with you. How do you do that?
Yeah, like the first entry level is probably something I do called Daniel's Den. So it's danielsden.com. It's entry level, but I feel like that's kind of where people want to start. Like if we're talking about like on the personal development side. On the spiritual side, it's YouTube, our church, Change Church, all of that's out there. And it's free. But when it comes to like integrating some of this stuff into your life and developing personally and building yourself so that you can build whatever you're trying to build, Daniel's Den is going to be, danielsden.com, that's going to be the first place to kind of start for people to get their feet wet.
And then it kind of goes from there.
It goes from there, yeah. I got a transformational coaching certification program that I'm walking people through right now, but I don't think I'm opening that back up until the fall. And so that's for people. Daniel's Den is like, we help you change your life. In TCC, we help train you on how to change other people's. So we teach you how to make a difference and a dollar. That's a whole nother conversation.
I ain't gonna take it there, but I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
When it opens in the fall, I gotta be in, man. But Daniel's Den, you can get in now.
People can get into that now. Right. And it kind of gives them some basic training that I feel like will help them once you step into TCC. Because, bro, I got like 4 or 5 different coaching certifications and none of them taught me how to make my money back. Think about that. It's like I got all these certifications and I paid y'all, but y'all hadn't taught me one thing on how to get the money back.
Yeah, that's a problem. Yeah,
that I paid you.
Yeah.
So for us, that's one of the things that we do in the program is because most people don't know it, man. But like, no matter what you're doing, at some point, whether you call it that or not, you coaching somebody. Whether you call it that or not, whether you ever call yourself that or not, if you're mentoring, at some point, you coach.
You coach, yeah.
Yeah. And so anyway, we got a couple other things out there, but that's kind of Daniel's Den is where people start.
Ike told me, he said, "Hey man, tell you man, when he comes there, man, I'm telling you right now, yeah, you gonna join the church, bro. That's just not going. It ain't gonna be no question about that." And so I was like, "Yeah, man, right, man, I'm about to join this man church, man. I don't really like that." Bro. Is the doors of the church open? Is the doors of the church open?
Hey, brother, it's all good. You always welcome, man.
Oh, man.
Always welcome. But we glad to be here, man. We glad to be in this city. We knew when my family and I were thinking about some transitions, we thought we were going to Los Angeles.
Oh, really?
What I felt called to do in the digital space, I knew I had to be in Los Angeles or Atlanta because I needed the human resources, the people that could actually undergird and support and do what we felt called to do. And so we thought we were LA all the way, bro.
Really?
And then it just, what? Knew what part we were living in. And yes, LA, looking at schools for the kids, 100%, we were there.
And when did that pivot happen?
And it happened a couple of years ago, man. There's a lady here in Atlanta that came to something I was doing in Orlando and was like, you should consider put something in Atlanta. I was like,
A lady, just a random lady.
She's actually on our staff now, but like a random lady. Walked up to me. And typically, I wouldn't have even been there, bro. Like typically, I would have been out the door because I would have had to hop a plane to go to Jersey.
Yeah.
I stayed after that day for whatever reason. She comes in my line greeting me. And she tells me her story about here in Atlanta. And it's a long story. I won't go into it. But like, we just started like investigating. We started looking at our analytics. And we started seeing like, once we get outside the tri-state area, which was Jersey, New York, and Philadelphia, once we get outside the tri-state area,
the biggest.
It was the A.
Yeah.
I was like, so we got a little something here. So we started doing heat checks, and then we just realized and recognized like, okay, yeah, we feel like this is where God's wanted us to be. And since we've done it, bro, no exaggeration, it's been crazy.
Yeah. Well, hey man, again, I love you. I appreciate you for coming by here, and I've really been enlightened. That piece about the assumption thing, you kind of messed me up with that. I'll never forget that. But online, you are so people want to reach out to you. They can go to danielsden.com. Yeah,
danielsden.com. And everything on social is my name. Is the only name I know is spelled this way, Darius.
Right.
So it's Darius Daniels on everything. That's YouTube, that's website, that's social media. That's everything, man. And thank you for having me, man. And then thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for the space that you're creating. Thank you for the example that you're setting for people who are like, yo, I'm a thought leader. I want to lead people in the way that they thinking. And then what you're doing in terms of like the contribution you're making to Black men.
Yeah, thank you.
Huge, man, huge. So, I'm behind you. That's why I came to be a part of this. I'm praying for you. If I can support you in any way, let me know. Because I believe in what you're doing.
Indeed. I appreciate you for saying that.
100%, man.
Indeed. Darius Daniels, he's that dude. It's Katie Bo Show.